Ten, nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening and welcome to Andy Decodes, where I'm joined by Kell Ridley. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi, no problem.
Right. Before we start, I've got a quick update. As a lot of you already know, I'm doing a new podcast. It's going to be called Eyes Only, where people send in videos or images. I put them up and we talk about it. We don't try and call them out or say people are faking it, anything like that. We just try and work out what it is we're looking at. Now, one issue with it, and I'm not pointing the finger at anyone in particular, but once it's out there and it's on YouTube, if you have any comments about the video, can you please put it in the comment section on YouTube and not message me directly? Because my phone does not stop going off. When it goes to the email, it then goes to the computer and I can filter through them and do it that way. But when it goes onto YouTube, I don't get the notification, so I can do that as and when I need to do it. But if you're going to message me, I got one the other day and someone just wrote dog. And it's like, is it a wrong? It's on Messenger. It's like, is it about one of the videos? Are they calling me a dog? Are they just having random Tourette's? I don't know. So if it's something to do with the video in Eyes Only, please put it in the comment section, because a lot of it will just get pretty much, I'll have to ignore it because there's too much coming through. So that wind's over, done. So thank you for joining us.
Excellent to be here. I'm just laughing at the comments already. Matt saying HRH is in the house or whatever.
That's you.
Yeah.
Right. So I know you through Michael Kopf doing Paranormal Versus.
That's right.
But you also, with last week's guest, Glenn Richardson, you did some. Did you go out investigating with N.E.P.S?
No, never got a chance to.
Oh, did you not?
No. Well, we had all intentions of doing stuff, but we just didn't get around to doing it.
You just not got around to doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So what was it that got you interested in the paranormal? Where did it all begin?
Oh God, I've had experiences most of my life. Basically, I flatlined when I was 6 years old, and then after then, I just seemed to know things that other people didn't know. Right. So that's how I got started, and then I see my first full ghost when I was 9 years old, and then it just continued from there. And I was obsessed at school. I was really obsessed at school with the paranormal. Like I say, we used to do projects and stuff like that, and everybody used to bring like projects in about the bunny rabbits or stuff like that, and there was me writing like projects about ghosts.
All right. Bringing haunted dolls to school.
Yeah, more or less.
So is it just the paranormal that you're interested in, like the ghost spirit side of stuff? Are you open to anything else? Everything else?
Basically everything virtually, apart from Dogman. That seems to be the only one I don't even know about. But I'm into like obviously UFOs and stuff like that as well, because my parents had experiences with UFOs on the night I was conceived. And I don't know, just like I say, it's just the whole paranormal supernatural thing. I've been like surrounded by it most of my life. So
what is it now that keeps you going? Just the not knowing and trying to find out?
Well, me, I was a historical researcher as well. When I was in Ghost Investigate. Have you heard of Darren Ritson and Drew Bartley?
Drew Bartley, I have.
Drew Bartley, yeah. Well, Drew was my team leader, so he taught me how to investigate a completely different way to what I've been like used to doing. So he was like me hero type of thing. So, but what's pushed us is just like nobody seems to know what it is. Everybody's got a different idea of what paranormal is, and it's just interesting. Like hearing everybody else's different opinion. You keep on learning something new every day. So
do you think, your opinion, would you truly want to find out what it's all about?
Yeah, I would love to. But with me, the way I've been taught to investigate, I'm very skeptical at the same time. So I need to have solid proof before I'll actually believe.
Yeah, but do you think then once you do find out what everything is and what the connection is, it's then that's it. It's pretty much done and dusted, isn't it?
I don't think we'll ever find out.
No. I'm kind of obviously I want to find out, but at the same time I'm thinking, do I really want to find out, or do I want to keep guessing? And
no, I want to find out. Yeah, I want to find out. Definitely want to find out. But like I say, I don't think that nobody will ever find out.
No, not anytime soon. Anyway.
No.
Sorry, 1 second. So going to UFOs. Do you think there's a connection then between UFOs and spirits?
I don't know, because I've heard some UFO stories where it's like being tongue twisted, shadow figures around, and a lot of people think that like aliens and stuff like that, or basically got some sort of cloak and if that makes sense, cloak and suit or something like that, and that's what shadow figures are that people see, and they misunderstand them, thinking that they're obviously paranormal ghosts and stuff when they're not. Just a theory, like I said.
No, the only reason I asked because Preston Dennett was on the other week, and he's had a lot of accounts sent to him where there's been a lot of UFO sightings around cemeteries and graveyards.
Right. Yeah.
I just wondered if you was any thoughts on that.
I've never heard that connection before. To be fair, I mean, I've heard about Sasquatch and stuff like that. Like there's meant to be some sort of connection that way, or portals or whatever. But I've never heard of them. The connection about the UFOs and the graveyards and stuff like that. But it's interesting.
Yeah. So I'd not heard of it, but then I never really thought about it. I'll put the two together. But like you said, with the UFOs and Sasquatch, there always seems to be there's one or both of them about the same time, or within a time period of each other. So I believe that there's a connection between Sasquatch and UFOs. Whether anyone else believes it, it's down to them. But I do think that there's definitely a connection with them too.
Yeah, I do know two guys that I used to work with. I mean, we're talking about big burly bouncer guys that went night fishing at a place called Bowlam Lake up here, where apparently there's meant to be like sightings of some sort of Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever it is.
Oh, right.
And they say that they felt as though there was a giant craft hovering above them at one point. That they couldn't hear it, but they could feel it. It was like a vibration, and all the trees were going mad. They seen a light seem to shoot down from the sky, and then all of a sudden they say that there was just seemed to be like loads of like gigantic people, as they put it, running about in the trees.
Oh,
And it freaked them out that much. They left all the equipment, the fishing stuff, and they got in the car and never went back. So
I've not heard anything like that before.
me and my friend went up there and we investigated to see if we could, like, this is after the fact, see whether we could say anything. And we did hear something at one point, sounded like a big animal walking through the trees. But then we were thinking it could be a cow or something that's gotten loose, you know, or something big like that.
That's it. Unless you see something, it's hard to say what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you had any up close UFO encounters?
Not UFO encounters. My daughter has, which now she thinks she's dreaming when she's seen it, and my parents both have. But personally, not me. No.
Right. Can you talk about them? What your daughter and your parents have had?
I was on the way to a pub many years ago, but obviously before I was born. And they were on the way down and they seen a cigar-shaped object in the sky, silver, and they didn't think no more about it. And then when they got to the pub, everybody was outside the pub looking up at it and pointing at it, and they were all talking about it. And then it just seemed to shoot off. And they thought no more about it. And then that night when they were walking home, they were having like this little cut through the field to get home, shortcut. Yeah. And they decided to stop off. I'm not telling you what for. And they were looked up and they seen that same object above them. And then they said my dad said he can't remember nothing else until a few hours later. He says they don't know whether they fell asleep or what. But obviously I was conceived that night. So when I was younger, my brothers used to say that I was an alien.
Hey, you never know. That's if they've got missing time, and if it sounds like they may have been taken, I'm not saying there was. There could be some truth behind it. Well,
I put it down to the fact that they were on the way back from the pub, so they probably drunk and fell asleep. So
there's that as well. Probably passed out. That's very interesting. That really is. The one that your daughter had.
Yeah, I think it was back in 2014. It might have been. She used to stay at my mum's house because I used to live up in the countryside up in N.E.P., which was like a 45 minutes drive away. Right. And she was working and going to college down in Newcastle. So basically, she had to stay like at my mum's house during the week. Yeah. And she says that she looked out the window and she seen an H-shaped craft in the sky above the houses, like really big. Yeah. And she's sort of freaking out, thinking, well, why aren't all the people seeing this sort of thing? And basically, she said she described it like the lights on it, where the lights were and stuff like that. There was like a sequence of lights around the side of them. And like I say, she described it, but then she says she fell asleep. So she didn't know whether it was a dream or not. But now my daughter's a complete skeptic, and she says that she's adamant that she must have fell asleep now. But back then, she was adamant she'd seen it. Yeah. And she drew it for us, and then I'd done some research a few years later, and it turned out in 2014 there was 12 people had seen an H-shaped craft in the sky, exactly the same as what she seen.
So could be a lot of truth behind it, and not just dreaming.
Yeah.
So what encounters have you had?
Paranormal.
Anything strange or supernatural?
Well, basically, it'll be quick to tell you what I haven't had.
All right.
When I was 9-year-old, I was at a friend's house. I've told this story so many times. And we were playing hide and seek in the dark, and I thought I had seen her go into one of the back bedrooms. And I went in after, I seen what I thought was her sitting against the back wall, hugging her knees, and I was like, she had a nightie on. And I'm thinking she didn't have that one before. That's a bit weird, but she was crying, so I was like concerned. I was like, "What's the matter? Are you okay?" And I went and put my hand on her. My hand went straight through. And basically, I realised at that point that there was something strange going on, and I completely freaked out, ran home. And then my mum was asking the neighbour a couple of days later, who had lived there all her life, and she told my mum that a girl had died in that back bedroom of smoke inhalation of a fire.
Right.
And she was found in her nightie, propped up against the wall. So it's got to have been the same girl I've seen.
Sounds it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So have you had shadow people encounters? I
have seen shadow figures when I've been on investigations. there was a shadow figure and a light, like lights in the shape of people. It was down in a cellar in a pub that we went to. Like me with a couple of other like investigator friends, me best friend Leslie as well. Leslie was upstairs with me friend's girlfriend, and we went down into the cellar. And like I say, these lights just formed. There was 3 of them. They formed in front of her, and they came towards her, and were trying to work out whether it was me friends with the torches upstairs, and the lights coming through the floorboards, and they weren't even in the building at the time, so we couldn't explain. But I didn't have my camera on us at that point, because when we went in, the door, there was a big heavy fire door, and it slammed shut twice, and it was an impossibility for it to do it. I went around, checked to make sure there was no windows open, and there was no drafts, and even if you try to push it shut hard, it can't do it because of the draft, the pressure on the door. So that happened twice, and when that happened also, it drained me batteries completely on camera. So I didn't even have my camera on us at that point, so I'm absolutely gutted.
It's always the way though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You never get pictures or recordings of anything when you want them most.
I did see something, it was like a shadow as well, because I used to be a bouncer for 20 years. So on New Year's Eve, I can't even remember what year it was. I think it was about 7 years ago. It's called the Bridge Hotel in Newcastle. It's right next to the castle, and in the basement there, it's like a Roman road runs underneath, and they have all sorts of things happening there. And I went downstairs to do the toilet check, and as I went to walk up the stairs, all of a sudden I heard a pop noise, which I've never heard this noise before ever. And it was at the side of us, and there was just a shadow, like a figure of a person. And I basically, being an investigator, crapped my pants and ran up the stairs. As I did, I sort of fell up the stairs, tripped over, face planted the floor. And so anyway, when I got up the stairs, I went straight, obviously, told the manager what I had seen. She was like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. I was like, what?
No one told you.
Come on, we'll go and check the cameras. So we went and checked the cameras, and you see me reacting to something, but it's static. It wasn't, you couldn't see the shape. It just looked like static. And basically there was something there, but you couldn't see what it was, and you see me face planting the floor, and obviously they got a good laugh out of that. And I should have took a copy of it on my phone, but I never thought at the time, because I was working. So, and that's one of my main regrets. I didn't get a copy of that. So.
What's the strangest encounter then?
One of the strangest ones I think I've had. I mean, I don't know if anybody else would think it's strange, but I do, for the simple reason as I thought I was going insane. I owned a tattoo studio, and it was in an old picture house, like an old cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And it had been converted into like units. And I was waiting for a guy come to fix the alarm system. And so I was painting the walls and that, because we had just moved into another room. And anyway, so I'm painting, and the phone keeps going off, switching off. And we had like loads of problems with the music getting turned down all the time. It was impossible for it to turn down because it wasn't a remote control like hi-fi. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why does it keep going off on my phone now? And anyway, I turned around, and there was a guy in the doorway, and I thought, oh, it's the guy to come fix the alarm system. So I went, oh, 2 seconds, I'll be with you in a second. I'm just going to put my paintbrush down. I turned around, and he evaporated in front of my face. So I thought I was going insane, completely insane. I feared for my own like sanity at that point.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was dressed in like a 1940s style clothing, and like had like the comb over hair type of thing.
Oh yeah, waves. Like with a bro cream sort of thing.
Yeah. He had like a tank top on, grey trousers, like pleated at the front. He with so much detail in him. It was unbelievable. I thought he was real. And then when he evaporated, like I say, I questioned my own sanity. I've never seen being so frightened in all my life.
Do you think he's seen you?
He was looking straight at us, but he had like a vacant look on his face. But he was looking at us. Yeah.
So that I think that bit creeps me out. If you're seeing something that used to be here, and then they can see you.
Yeah.
That's what I can't get my head around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I say, that's got to be one of the scariest things that I have actually seen. So, and I was on my own at the time. Well, I was on my own with most of them, to be honest. But I don't know. I just felt as though, I just felt pure fear at that point. So
yeah. Sorry, I've just got to put something in the chat.
It's okay.
Should have. Someone's asking for the email address, but I've changed it so it goes to the right part. It was Matt anyway, so you can get off you if you get the wrong one.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Anyone got any questions? We're only going to be doing we've said about an hour, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're not feeling too well. So
Yeah.
obviously we don't want to keep you on here longer than we have to.
It's okay.
Any projects you've got coming up? I know you do. Obviously, you do Paranormal Versus with Michael Kopf.
Yeah.
How's that going now?
It's going really well. I mean, bearing in mind I'm severely camera shy, so I think I'm doing all right. And Michael's doing absolutely amazing. I couldn't be like doing it without him. He's been like an absolute rock to us. But we're planning on doing some like TikTok lives just to like obviously get some more like people interested in the show and stuff like that. So that's why we've been like campaigning to try and get his followers up on TikTok to 1,000 so we can do that. But I'm going over to America in October to go and stay with some friends. So I'm going to investigate over there and like get loads of footage and stuff like that and like put it on YouTube and that'll be fun.
Are you meeting Michael while you're there, or are you going to a different part?
Unfortunately, no. I was going to because I was meant to be going to the Fear Fest. Yeah, so I was going to go and meet all the network that obviously the Paralanx and the Paraporters and that, but they've changed the dates now, so I can't go over there.
Oh, you can't do it. Oh, that's a shame.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Are you going to any of the conferences over here?
I don't even know when any of them are, to be fair. It's like I'm just usually busy doing my own thing, so I haven't actually thought about it, but I am going to start investigating a lot more. Because Matt's going to be joining me now, so he's got loads of like ideas of different places that other people haven't done, and so we're going to be like doing a lot in the coming months.
Right, okay.
So we might end up at one of them. You never know.
Well, there's two that I know of that I'm going to. There's one in Manchester, which is the Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's hosted by Craig Charles, Steve Mera, Barry Fitzgerald, Paul Sinclair. List is endless. It's like that's a 3-day event on the bank holiday weekend in August.
Right.
But I'm just doing the Saturday, Sunday, and there's one nearer to you, which is Chris Evers is doing OLM in Hull at Middleton Hall. That's on the 31st of September, I think.
Yeah, you're saying it's
Outer Limits magazine.
You're saying it's closer to me. It's like 3 hours away.
Oh, is it? It's nearer than Manchester, isn't it? Or is it
that's
about
true.
the same?
Well, more or less, yeah. Yeah, I think I can get Manchester in around about 2.5, 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of it about like living in Newcastle. You're so far away from everything else.
Yeah, it's like me, because I'm in Northampton. Obviously, I'm from Manchester. So when I was in Manchester, I'd get anywhere from there. But now you're down here, it's like, because there's loads of places up in Scotland that I want to go to. Before, it was only like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Now it's like 7. It's double straight away.
Yeah.
And it's
I mean, I'm not that far away from Scotland, so, and we've got like plans on to go up there because Michael found out that I'm the 22nd great granddaughter of Robert the Bruce, and he's given us all ancestors and stuff like that, and the ancestral lands and stuff like that, and so we're going to go and check that out.
Yeah,
should be fun.
Cool. Right, we've got a question for you. This is from Terry Brown. Hello, Terry. Before you witness an entity or spirit, do you ever feel a sort of nervous energy building internally within yourself?
I've always sort of had a feeling, well, not when I was 9 years old, but the other ones, and especially now, I get a weird feeling something's about to happen, but it's not just for the paranormal. It's like when I used to work on the doors, it was like I used to stand and start singing like a song, I Predict a Riot, and all the guys that used to work with us knew as soon as I started singing that song, something was about to kick off.
Someone's going to go down.
Yeah, and it used to happen the same when I was a store detective for 13 years as well. So it was like I would go to one of the girls on the till because I thought it was amazing. I used to go, right, set your time out within like 20 to 30 minutes time. I'm going to have somebody, I'm going to catch it, like somebody shoplifting. Yeah. And within that time, I used to catch somebody because I used to get this like weird feeling, like like hyper feeling, like something
Like
was
an
about to happen.
intuition sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I do get that.
Cool. Thank you. So what would be the worst type of investigation for you?
Worst type of investigation. I don't really know. I don't think that there's a worst type of investigation.
No.
Like I'm interested in all aspects of it, so
Yeah.
it doesn't make a difference to me.
Yeah. Or is it? What would be the most, I suppose, exciting investigation then?
You've got to see some kind of poltergeist activity. That I think that is the ultimate.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
have you had that? Have you had that in the past with poltergeist?
We had stuff happening in the house that I used to live in. Oh God, I used to live in like a 300-year-old converted barn up in N.E.P.S. And like I used to have like footsteps walking around my bed all night. You could actually hear the floorboards like creaking the places where they were walking. I had a jewelry box that used to open and slam shut. There was no possible way that could have happened. And we're actually going on camera with the first team I was part of. The guy walked out and it was closed, and he had it on the actual, because it was on the windowsill, and he walked out backwards. He was the only person in the room, and he came out. And then when we go into the courtyard, my bedroom was next to the courtyard, and somebody went, "Who opened that?" And he was the last one out. And we looked at the camera footage, and he was definitely the last one out, and it was open again. So we had that sort of thing. Things used to get moved around, thrown around. There was all sorts happening. Because
anything get hidden? Like
lots
you
of
put
things.
something down and you won't find it for like days or weeks.
Yeah, that used to happen all the time.
And it'd turn up back in the same spot where you originally put it.
Or some weird place, like your keys would turn up in the freezer. The remote control would turn up in the toilet, like really random things like that.
Yeah, places where you wouldn't put it.
And for a while, we used to blame each other, thinking like me and my ex, like obviously we were both doing it to wind each other up, but
yeah.
we weren't.
Cheers for that. Got a couple more questions for you. This one is from UFO Joe. Kelly, do you feel any negativity the first time you saw the shadows?
No, not negativity. No. I don't. I mean, when I was 9, I didn't know what to think. To be honest, I just knew I was petrified. But when I've seen other things, it's just been my fear that's kicked in, my fight or flight type of thing. And I mean, for the job I used to do, I shouldn't even like have ran.
Yeah.
But it just seems to be. I mean, I can like face like about 10 guys, like big guys fighting and stuff like that, and not run. But when it comes to the paranormal, like it's just when they appear, that's when I like freak out.
Yeah.
If I slowly came into sight, I wouldn't be so bad. But
yeah. It's because you don't. I had this conversation today. It's because you don't know what you're dealing with. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you see a person, or like with your job, and there's a group of lads or women, they start kicking off, you know straight away what you need to do.
Yeah.
But
of course,
if you've got some paranormal energy that deciding to kick off, you can't grab a stick and start beating it, can you?
No.
So it's it is hard.
Yeah.
Very. And when I don't shy away from admitting that I get scared, because I do. It's just, I think though, it's not somewhat not scared as such. I just get a bit unsure of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you stay around too long.
That's
I don't
like
really
me.
want to risk.
Yeah.
Anything too serious just for the sake of a bit of footage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get like really scared if like I'm sitting there and something happens. It's just like when they pop into view, that's when I freak out.
Yeah. It's that initial reaction, isn't it, when you first see it?
Yeah, like I say, we've had things thrown at work, we've had doors banging and stuff like that, and it's like I've been absolutely fine. I've been the first one down into cellars on my own and stuff like that, where nobody else would go, and it's like I've been absolutely fine. And it's just like when I say when something appears in front of us like that, that's no, I'm away.
No, you're off. You're done. Right. Right. Next question. Changing subject a little bit. This is from nickname. She wants to know, what do you think of time slips?
Yeah, I do believe in them. I believe I've had this conversation with somebody a few weeks ago. Actually, it's like some of the paranormal. It's like I say, like with that guy with him looking at me that was in the
Yeah.
studio. I don't know whether he was actually real and it was some sort of time slip, and for a split second he seen me, and then I seen him type of thing. But he just had a vacant look on his face, and I don't know whether it was actually shock or whether it was just, I don't know. And
No.
there's a possibility that that's what that could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do believe that they do happen.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. Right, do one more question, then we'll have a break. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Right, so this one is from Nickname again. Has there ever been attachments after an investigation?
And not to me. On one of the bars I did work at, we used to stay after hours, and obviously to try and like see if we could capture something. One of the manageresses, she was obviously into witchcraft and stuff like that, and she complained for a while after she was having stuff happening at home, like negative stuff, and then she was like having, I can't even explain, like money problems and stuff like that. All of a sudden started happening, and she was convinced she was like had a negative attachment.
Yeah.
Because the spirit that we were dealing with wasn't meant to be a nasty one as well, and he didn't like women. So
yeah, no, I've heard that before. People get attachments. Everything in their life starts going down. Relationships break down, losing jobs, money troubles, all sorts. And then as soon as they do whatever, well, cleansing, I suppose, and then it all starts coming back to normal.
That's exactly what she did.
Yeah. So I'm guessing she's got it sorted now.
As far as I'm aware, I haven't spoke to her for a couple of years now, so I think she did in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, thank you for that. Right, we'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll be back on. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right. See you then.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, and we are back. Right, do you mind if I tell a story? Matt has asked to listen about one of the encounters that I had.
No, go for it.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
I'll keep it as short as I can because obviously it's about you, but he's just asked, can he hear it again? And I've actually done a podcast on this today for Let's Get Freaking. That was a guy that was on a couple of weeks ago called Tommy Cullum.
Mhm.
So that'll be out. He said about 2 weeks that'll get released. So I'll keep it as short as I can, promise. So basically, I was where I used to live. I was in the back garden doing some sky watching. The back of the house is taller than the front of the house, so it's like the roof's like a lean-to. So it's probably about, I'd say, between 8 and 12 foot taller at the back than it is the front. So if certain point in the garden, if you stand there, it blocks out all the artificial light, so you can see all the stars, and so you get a better picture of the night sky. So I stood there with the house behind me, looking up, watching some of these stars dancing about. It's about 11 o'clock. I thought, I'm going to go in now. It's getting a bit cold and I've got stuff to do. As I turned around to walk back into the house, I just caught something like up to like my 2 o'clock and just seen something moving across the sky. I looked up, I just watched it and watched it to go completely gone out of sight. I swear on my life, it was what looked like a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
I think I've got a picture on it on here. There we go. This is what it looked like.
Wow.
That's the position that I seen it from, but obviously it was further away. This is CGI, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
But so the wings were about as big as that, but they were more that style.
Yeah.
So head to tail, I reckon it was about 24 foot, and the wingspan was about 16. So it was a cross between that one and that one. It didn't have that thin thing under its neck, but the wings were the same as that, like that's that style. But
go back to the other picture. That one, is that not the wing that's like just bent over?
well, that the wings there is pointing up, but it was more, like a bat wing where you've got the arches where it curves in on the inside.
Right.
It was more like that. So if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But the wings were as big as that one, and the body was longer. So it was a bit of a mix of the two.
Right.
And I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. I just watched it as it went. Straight line, didn't move, didn't hear a noise coming from it. Didn't fly off course. It was like it's just being pulled, or it was on a rail.
Right.
Like you get a car on a scale electric or on a kid's road, and you just run it down and it can't come off, it just goes straight. It was like that. Didn't flap its wings, nothing, and just stayed at the same height. I reckon between 100 and 150 foot, but nearer to 100. So I'd say about 120 foot.
Right.
And because it was a clear night, that I think that's the main reason why I could see it, because it was like a dark tan brown, like on that one, and that up against the black sky was easy to see. And as it's going, obviously it was blocking the stars out, and I didn't know what I was looking at. I was thinking it was a dragon.
Right.
All I thought was, I've just seen a dragon. It can't be real. It's got to be a drone. I'm just trying to think of something logical.
Yeah.
I went in the house on the TV, on the computer, looking on YouTube and what have you. This is about 11 years ago, so about 2012, 2013 maybe. And I was set till about 4 o'clock in the morning, could not find anything. And then, because you're searching, you start finding other stuff on YouTube, you kind of like go off track of what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up just forgetting about it, really. And then it was I'd say it'd be about 2.5 years ago now. And someone had put, I think it was this picture. That's one that I found on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of them moments where I seen it and just, Joe, you just fall back in a chair with just pure shock. You can't
Yeah.
believe what you're looking at.
Uh,
That's what it was. It's like, oh my God, that's what it was. And someone had put a description about it. Obviously, like pterodactyl or pterosaur, whatever they call them.
yeah.
And where they'd seen it. I think that one was over, I think it was Arizona somewhere. Or like south, like around the New Mexico area.
Yeah.
There'd been a few sightings around there. And it was just that point that I couldn't believe that was what I'd seen.
Yeah.
And but it lasted, I don't think it lasted any longer than 30 seconds. It probably flew about half a mile. Well, what I could see was about half a mile. Didn't phase in, didn't phase out. It was solid from beginning to end.
Uh-huh.
And that was it.
Wow. So do you think it actually was a pterodactyl, or do you think it's got to have been some sort of motorized thing?
No, it is possible. It could be a cloaking or shield of some sort to make it look like that rather than what it actually is.
Right.
There's no lights coming from it. There's no lights emitting from it. I couldn't see any reflections on it. It was that dull, matted. Do you know, like a leather coat, the old leather coats from the 80s and 90s? It was that kind of finish.
Wow.
So it wasn't even, there was nothing to say it was mechanical.
Yeah.
So was that a time slip? Had it come through a portal? Are they there all the time and we're just not looking up to see them? We don't know they're there because we're not watching for them.
Yeah, that's true. You never know.
But 100%, that's what I seen. And then when I seen that photograph, that just confirmed it. It didn't move its mouth, didn't move its head. It didn't flap its wings. There's no noise. And I found out afterwards that a lot of these sightings, they all fly around that same height because you get into a thermal drift.
Right.
And once they're in that, like hang gliders, once you get in it, you can stay up in the air without having to do anything.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
That was it.
I think at that point I would have been thinking like what I did with my paranormal experience. I would be going crazy if I seen one of them, knowing me.
Yeah, it did keep coming back to me, and I was just like, I just kept thinking, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff going on at the time, so it wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
But then when I seen that picture, it's like, if I'd have known at the time what it was I was seeing, I'd been running around dancing, shouting, everything. I'd not have been able to contain myself.
Yeah.
But because I didn't, I just like shrugged it off, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But I think that is one of my better encounters because I got a clear picture of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't too close and weren't too far away. But
you never had a camera.
I had my phone in my hand all that time because I've been looking at the stars, so I'd been using my phone to zoom in to look like the ones that were moving about. Just to didn't even consider taking a photo or video of it.
That's typical, though, isn't it?
Because I remember I went to open the back door to go back in the house, and my phone was in my hand. I'm like, why didn't I take a picture? That was it.
That is typical. I've just noticed Michael's in the chat, the co-host. Hi, Michael.
Just seen him. Hello, Michael. Bim Jeremy's just asked me, were you standing still as you viewed it? Yeah. So I was literally stood, and the only thing that was moving was in my head as I watched it go across the sky. That was it. So
that's
that's I think that's a cool one. I've not been drinking. I've not been taking drugs. I was clear-headed.
I've got to admit that's the first dinosaur sort of sighting I've ever heard. So interesting.
I never in a million years thought I'd ever see one, especially in the UK for a start. And I lived in Milton Keynes of all places, and it wasn't that far from the centre. but there's nothing that in that area that would draw it to it. The only thing that there is, and I don't know the full facts on this, there's the A5, which is Watling Street, which is an old Roman road.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, if that was built on a ley line, that could be one of the connections. I don't know if the A5 is. It's just something that I was thinking about today after doing that other interview.
Yeah.
So, because I know a lot of the Roman roads were built on ley lines, and a lot of the crossroads, there's a lot of ley lines on them as well. So, could it be that? I don't
Possibility.
know.
Yeah. It's something
like
to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what I've seen, and and that was it.
Yeah. That is definitely interesting. I mean, it might be worth like looking up about the ley lines and stuff like that to see where they're actually running.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, enough of me. Back to you. You can't roll your eyes. No eye rolling. Oh, right.
I promise.
So, next question. This is from Alien Woods, and they want to know, Cal, ever seen anything in Newcastle Keep?
I've never been in Newcastle Keep before, strangely enough. Well, I have when I was a teenager. Went with a school to do a project because I was like obviously done history and it's part of my options. So we went to the Keep for that, but that's the only time I've ever been in the Keep. But when I seen that thing downstairs that popped in front of us, that was in the bar directly opposite the Keep, like a couple of, like I would say about 50, 60 yards away, maybe a little bit more. So that was right next to it. And they all say there's paranormal activity going on all the time there.
Yeah.
But I've never actually seen anything in the Keep because I've never been.
Right. All right. Fair enough.
Yet.
Still time.
Yeah, still time.
Right. Oh, next question is from Michael. Anyway, how was visiting Hadrian's Wall?
All right, Michael, I've got a little bit of confession to make. Them weren't my photos I sent you. Basically, Michael.
Did you not go?
No, it's like 200 yards up the road from where I live, and it's like Michael's to go and investigate and stuff like that. So I went on Google and I noticed there was some photos of Hadrian's Wall exactly just up from where I live on Google. So I screenshotted them and sent them. But I didn't actually go myself. So
yeah, but the thing, because you live that close, it's not too bad. I actually, a few years ago, I was taxi driving in Manchester, and I dropped my uncle off. He used to be in the army, and he'd gone seeing one of his old army mates up in Whitby. Mm-hmm. So I dropped him off, and I thought I'd do a bit of a road trip on the way back. I actually drove east to west along Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
And then come back down on the M6.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair old drive.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. I know it is the shortest point in the UK, but it's not that short. But it was a good drive, and to be honest, there's not much wall left, is there, really?
In the countryside, there is.
There is in parts. You can see where it is, and you can see where the land, is it higher in Scotland and lower in England? Because that's the original border, isn't it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think so, anyway, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been there loads and loads of times. I just haven't took photos and stuff, and I haven't actually investigated there. But it's like right on what we call the West Road, so it's like there's constant traffic going back and forth. So it's a bit of a like waste of time trying to investigate at that point, where just up from where I live. But I've got full intentions of going into the countryside and doing it because I think you'd like the photos from there better. I thought I'd just I'll just show them where it's like at the top of my street, and so I just sent them the photos off Google. I didn't say I had been either, so. But I've been a little bit poorly in the last couple of weeks, so that's I haven't really went anywhere. So
no, it's fair enough. I'm sure he'll understand. Find out if he unfriends you.
Yeah, he's gonna obviously delete us off the podcast now.
Yeah. No. At least you're honest. Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. Right. So next question is from Adam Sandor. How do you keep your kitchen so clean? I should have read that before I read it out.
Do you know what it is, right? That's not the first time I've been asked that. And it's like, my kitchen looks amazingly clean that way. But if you look that way, I'm basically a crafter. I do like loads of polymer clay projects and stuff. And I've got like obviously boxes full of like molds and stuff like that sitting on my table.
Right.
So
Okay.
I only clean that part of my kitchen. No, I do clean it. But that's what I've got a daughter for. She comes and does it for us.
Right. Fair enough. At least you give it a good answer. Right. So I'm just gonna. I think there was one or two questions that we missed. Sorry, I'll be a second because
I'm laughing at Michael's reply.
That's right. No, I think I've asked that one. Sorry about that. I was just making sure. Oh, Matt's just put it's a backdrop. It's not real.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do when I go down his. He's going to like superimpose my kitchen.
Yeah.
If I do one down like his house.
Yeah. What I do, I just take a photo of all this and use that as my backdrop, so you can see what I'm looking at every time I do the stream. Doesn't always work. It just looks like I'm phasing in and out.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
I've noticed other people's that's put the backdrops on, and yeah, it looks a bit weird.
It's not. It's all right if you've got a green screen.
I've actually got one of those with the spooky backdrops, but it feels too enclosed for us, so
yeah,
I've decided not to bother with it.
No, fair enough. Right, we've got another one from Michael, and he's asking, "What is your favourite historical site to investigate?"
I would say Hadrian's Wall, but I haven't done it yet.
I was gonna say, you can't say Adrian's Wall because you've not been.
Historical site. God, there's been that many castles and that we've been to. I can't think of like any in particular. I don't know. I don't actually know. I mean, there's a place. It's not historical, but it's full of historical stuff, and that's Nelson. It's the Northeast Land, Air, and Sea Museum, I think it's called. And it's got all the old war planes and stuff like that. I've been there quite a few times. Absolutely love that place.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. You get some really, really weird footage and that up there. The first time I went, I was doing a lone vigil for Ghost Investigate, and I forgot that I had like obviously a head cam on. Yeah. And I was shouting out, asking if anybody's there, not like bang 3 times. And then all of a sudden from the back of the hangar was these 3 really loud bangs, and me got up and ran. And in typical form of me, very clumsy, they had like a big lip over the door, like where you had to like step over as you went out. Yeah. I forgot it was there, and I tripped over and I face planted the floor again. Yeah. So I forgot. I dusted myself off, felt a little bit embarrassed, got up, dusted myself off, and went into the like obviously the coffee room where everybody was sitting, and took everything off and handed it over. And then it was that night that they asked us to join the team. So I was like, oh yeah, great. Yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, one of the guys from the team, one of the main guys, Drew, messages and went, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah. Why? He went, well, obviously you must have forgot you had your head cam on because you tripped up and you like obviously hurt yourself. So I'm like, oh God, I forgot about that. So embarrassing. So they had it on camera, me obviously running and tripping and falling. So
oh dear.
I'm surprised I was still part of the team after that.
They probably thought, well, if we get more of these, we can make money from it as well.
Oh yeah, you'd be framed.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Right, 2 more questions. I think that'll take us to an hour then. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, so the next one is from Jo, the moderator, and she wants to know, where would Kell like to go in the UK to investigate?
God, another hard
top
one.
Of your list? If you could go anywhere without it, doesn't matter whether you can get in or not. Hypothetically, you can go to any place in the UK. Where would you go?
Tower London, definitely, without a doubt.
I knew you were going to say that.
Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with the place, the history of the place.
Yeah.
So that's my ultimate. Yeah, I would absolutely love that place. Yeah.
So would you do that on your own?
I would have had to.
Yeah.
I might run in a couple of spots. Well, attempt to run. I can't run anymore, but I might run like a little bit in that. But I would do it on my own if I had to, without a doubt.
And would you stay over?
Oh yeah.
Do a night one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Excellent.
Either that or Hampton Court Palace would be my number 2.
See, yeah, I'd love to go there.
Mm-hmm. Number 3's got to be Iv'e Castle.
Iv'e, I've not heard of that.
It's the ancestral home of Anne Boleyn.
Oh, right, okay.
That's in Kent.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to go there.
Yeah. Well, cheers. Right, and the last question is from Michael, but he's just gone because he's got companies. But I'll read it anyway. And his question is, what is your goal for Paranormal Versus?
I mean, the reason why I'm in it is for the research side of it and the historical side of it, but it's not just the British side of it, of the research and stuff like that. It's the American side as well. It's like bringing the two like countries together, and I basically want to like get out there a little bit more so you can see both parts of like obviously like the way we do things compared to the way that they do things. Having guests on from our country and their country and stuff like that. So I just want to get out there a little bit more, have like more interesting, not that the guests aren't interesting, but like people that's actually like had well-known like investigations or stories or stuff like that. Get around a little bit more, like from the both countries. Yeah.
No, well, that was it when I first started. It was knowing or trying to connect with these people and getting them on. I think once you start doing it, you get to know them and you get the connection with them anyway. So so far it's getting easier. I don't want to speak too soon and just go downhill from it. But I think even like everyday people like ourselves, to me, it's not just about the name of the person that's on. It's about the experience they've had, whether they're out researching or the encounters and just the honesty that comes from them. I think that's the main thing more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that as well, because it's like everybody's got an interesting story. I've got tattoos of ghosts, and like when I go into a shop or something like that, people ask us about why have I got a ghost tattooed onto us, and then when I tell them what I do, it's like they always come and tell us their story. Everybody's got a story about the paranormal, and I'm just fascinated in the whole lot. So I'll listen to anybody tell us a story. I love that.
Well, it's like that was one of the reasons why I started doing this, was because I'd had so many encounters and experiences that I wanted to find what everyone else, what was happening to them. Was it the same? Was it different? Do you know what I mean? So same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we've hit the hour now. So do you want to go or carry on, or it's entirely up to you?
I can carry on for a bit if you want.
Sure?
Yeah.
All right. We'll do another 10 more minutes then.
Yeah, of course.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I forgot what I was going to say. So with doing the ghost side to everything, like the paranormal bit, do you do, or would you, or have you done Ouija boards?
I do actually have a Ouija board. I don't use it. It's part of me kit because I've got experiments that nobody else has got. So basically, they're all made by me old team member, leader, Drew Bartley, and basically that is part of one of the kit that I got off him. So it's got like electromagnetic pump that's supposedly so you don't have to touch it, the planchette. It should move on its own. And that's the whole theory behind it. So, I mean, I think I've actually set it up once on an investigation, and we've never ever seen it move yet. But my best friend, Leslie, who's part of my team, basically, she will not even get in the car. She knows I've got it in the car. Like if I'm moving it from location, like obviously a location that way, she'll go, I got that on you. I'm not getting in the car if you got that. She's absolutely petrified of them.
I'm not even allowed one in the house. Nothing.
They don't bother me in that way. I I don't know why. They just.
I want one. I just want one to put on the wall.
Mhm.
That's it. Deal with all the stuff behind me.
Yeah.
Not a chance. If that's on the wall, you are both out in the shed. So,
Yeah, that's what my friends
fair
like
enough.
with me.
Oh, right. Another question is from Nickname. Has Kell ever picked up an EVP?
Yes. When I was in the studio, the tattoo studio, when we were doing an investigation in there, we heard
Yeah.
somebody swearing, and then we heard a voice go shh. So, but the music was because we used to have rock music on loud in the studio, and
Yeah.
like I was telling you before, it used to turn down. So we actually got on camera turning down, but then we got the EVP of somebody going, a man going shh, and then we heard a man swearing when the music was up. It wasn't the music. We knew what music it was, so it had nothing to do with the music. And
Yeah.
on the playback of the recording was a man swearing. So we think whoever it was didn't like rock music and wanted to turn it down. But if it used to be an old picture house, that would fit in. Because obviously they wouldn't want to hear loud music and stuff like that. So
So have you ever picked up an EVP during an investigation?
that one. I was just taking because we did investigate. It was me own time, like I say.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, there's the last 2 investigations I've done. I haven't even checked the EVPs yet. That's one of the things I haven't done. No. So there could possibly be.
It's time consuming, isn't it? You've got to listen to it in real time.
Yeah. I'm the only one that does anything. I'm the only one that checks the cameras. I'm the only one that listens to like the audio and stuff like that. So it's like I've only got so much time. So I've just left it. I just put it all the way. I've even got like the SLS camera. I mean, my son-in-law was walking around because he was the tech guy at the time. He was walking around with that, and he's a complete skeptic. And he was like, I caught some things I can't explain, and I haven't even been through that yet. So I've probably got loads of footage, and
and just
I'm been through it yet.
Find it. So what? So if you've gone on an investigation, you could only take 3 pieces of equipment with you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you take?
I'd take my phone. I don't know, because like I say, my phone's the most important piece of kit. You can do audio on that as well as recording. So I guess I would take a K2 meter or a millimeter. I don't know, I mean UV camera.
Yeah.
And like I say, I've got that much equipment, I can't even remember where I've got
now.
All
right.
So.
Forgot what you've got.
Another one that I probably would take instead of the camera would be the air quality meter, because it's always good to see, like, obviously if you've got black mold or whatever in the air, that's why people's like experiencing things.
Because the pause can make you go all trippy, can't they?
Mm-hmm. It can make you paranoid, make you think you're being watched.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely take my air quality meter. Comes in handy, that thing. Especially like, I mean, if you've got carbon monoxide like leaking as well, it like detects that as well. So that can make you like paranoid and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, because if you're going to old or derelict buildings, then you're gonna have mold, aren't you?
Yeah.
The chances of you not having it are gonna be a lot less.
I mean, I've actually been down in cellars, and there's been like what looks like creepy little girls' faces, one-eyed girls' faces in the wall, and everybody's like, "Oh, look, it's got to be something paranormal." And I'm like, "It's black mold," but it still looked. It's like, do you know that pareidolia? It's like it still looks creepy as hell. But I mean, most places, like especially cellars and stuff like that, have got the black mold.
Yeah.
So you've just got to be careful.
Yeah. No, thank you. Then this is from Joe again. Does Kell have a favourite cryptid?
I mean, the only one I've looked for in the UK is obviously Bigfoot. But if it's American cryptid, I've heard like stories about, is it the Wendigo?
Yes.
Is that classed as a cryptid, or is it just paranormal? I don't know.
Well, I suppose it's a cryptid because it's a bit. It's like someone will say I'm wrong, but it's like the skinwalker. It's that type of thing. I've actually got a sticker of a Wendigo on my desk. I'm just looking at it. It's got, don't ask. It's like a skull for a face, and it's just all,
Yeah,
it shouldn't exist. Put it that way.
Yeah, like I say, it's got to be something like that because I've heard loads of stories about that sort of thing. So, yeah, it would have to be
Yeah.
that.
Cool. What about Mothman?
I was meant to be going to investigate somewhere when I was meant to be moving to America,
Yeah.
which I won't say nothing more about that. But
No.
I was meant to be going to a place where apparently Mothman was, where it was sighted and stuff like
West
that.
Virginia?
It was somewhere on the East Coast. I can't remember exactly where though. I've got a really bad memory of things like that. But I was told I was going to be taken there, so but never went. So
No, because obviously the original site, well, some of the original sightings were Point Pleasant in West Virginia.
Mhm.
But then you've got now there's a lot of like flying humanoids seen around Chicago.
yeah.
Lon Strickler does a lot on them.
Mhm.
That's
Wow.
his area, like flying humanoids. So I suppose they're everywhere. It's like you've got the ones in the UK, which was owl. I can't speak. Owl Man down in Cornwall in the 90s.
Oh my god! I need to start like obviously researching these things because I like that's the second one I've never heard of.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
just type in Owlman, Cornwall. I think it was. I've got 1991 or 1996 in my head. I think it was 91. I
Right.
can't remember the village that it was in.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's quite a few sightings, and there was a few not that long ago. I can't remember where they were though.
Hmm.
But how about Sheep Squatch?
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Pigman?
Nope.
The Pigman of Cannock Chase, 1973.
No, I've heard of the Black-Eyed Children, the Cannock Chase, but not
Yes.
the Pig Man.
That it was the Black Eyed Children that got me to go to. It wasn't them personally,
Mhm.
but because of them, that's what got me interested in going to Cannock when I
Yeah.
first went about 7 years ago.
I've actually mentioned that that's one of the places I need to go to.
Cannock is a good place.
Yeah.
Cannock and Rendlesham.
Yeah, Rendlesham Forest. I can't even pronounce that now.
Rendlesham Forest. Yeah, we'd gone down to Felixstowe Beach last weekend. It's
Mhm.
pretty much a straight drive. Just got on the A14 at Northampton, just straight down. A couple of hours drive, but it's just direct, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And then coming back is only like 20 minutes away to Rendlesham.
Yeah.
And I put in the sat nav to go to the UFO landing spot. It took me to it, seen one sign. We got into the forest and there's no more signs. And it's like, oh, I don't know where I'm going now. So give up.
Typical.
But I'm supposed to be meeting up with some people in August and doing a proper tour of it. So
Yeah.
that should be fun.
Wow.
Right. So Joe has asked me to put this picture up and see what your thoughts are of it. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is from Geordie Cook when he was on last year.
Mhm.
He had these sent to him. Now these are from a trail cam, and we did confirm that it is Cannock. Someone said that it was Suffolk, but
Right.
it's not. It's definitely Cannock Chase. So the 7 photos in total. I'll do the
Okay.
first one, and then each photo will show you the negative of that photo. So what he did, he sent them to someone that can work out whether they're legit or fake or they've been overlaid and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no Photoshop on it. And they come back to him and said whatever was photographed, they are original photos. They've not been tampered with. Whether the thing in the photo is real or not, that's another story.
Okay.
Right, so here's the first one. So this is on a farm. You can see the trailer and the gravel or grain and straw and that on the floor and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's that one, and that's a negative to that.
Right.
Then this is the second one.
What?
I guess better.
What the?
And then that's a negative to that one.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the third one. So the top half, you can see it's like shimmering or vibrating.
Yeah.
You know it's not anything to do with the camera because everything else is in focus.
Yeah.
And then that's the negative. And then this is a zoomed in of that one of the third one. There.
What the hell? Oh my god. Is that not somebody in fancy dress? It's got to be a joke.
I don't
What
know.
the hell?
I have no idea. It looks like it's got velvet pants on. Do you know, like the crushed velvet?
Yeah.
Because I know it's not. It's just because of the lighting. So the security light from the barn of the farmhouse, whatever. That's why the top half looks brighter than the bottom.
Yeah.
But it does look like it's got crushed velvet pants.
Oh my god. I mean,
but if you look at the fingers, the nail, you can see like actual talons, nails on it.
I've got no words.
But it looks.
It's weird because I used that. I don't know. I mean, is this meant to be Pigman or?
Don't know.
Because I used to have a pig. I used to have a pet pig that used to live in my house called Kevin Bacon, and it's like sort of got the like features of that, but like
that's apart
from the nose, I was like a werewolf. I cannot work out what the hell it is.
But does that look like? So as we're looking at it's right hand side of its face, our left. Does that look like it's a tusk going up, or is that just his shadowing?
I don't know. I think if it was a tusk, it would be a little bit further forward. I think it would be, judging by mine, because he had huge tusks. I don't know. It's sort of like the way you were talking about Owlman before. It's like, is it an owl or is it? I don't know what the hell that is. It's like, is it somebody in a fancy dress? It's got to be a joke, that.
But you can see, if you look at the legs, I always thought the legs looked painted, but I just think it's a contrast to the actual photo. You can see the muscle definition in the calf, and you can see where the back of the knee is, and it comes up to the thigh just before the buttock. You can actually see the shape of the muscle. It's like an athlete's leg.
Yeah, I can see that. I just have no words. It's like it's long. Fingers look, I don't know, a bit longer than what they should be. It just doesn't. I don't know what the hell that is.
Doesn't sit right, does it?
It's like my brain wants to tell us that it's like human dressed up, but I don't. It looks weird.
It looks like. Remember Elf? Alien Life that used to eat the cats. It reminds me of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apart from with the ridges on his nose. Yeah, that's right. It does look like Elf.
Wow.
No idea what that is. That is freaky.
Yeah. So I still can. I don't know what it is. It could be someone dressed up. But apparently the guy there was stuff going on his farm. I'll put the first one back on. There's stuff going on the farm, so he set up a trail cam. I'm not sure if he had cattle or like poultry and that going missing, or there was stuff happening anyway. So he set up a trail cam, and then he went and checked it, and they were 3 of the images that were on there.
Wow.
And that is the only backstory that I've got to it.
I mean, if it is real, then wow, that's an amazing photo. But it's like my brain, I just like I try and like it's too skeptical.
Yeah, but even if it's a costume,
it's a good costume.
It's a good costume. It's probably one of the better costumes I've seen.
Yeah,
but do we know?
Wow,
I've not got a clue. If it's real, I wouldn't like to bump into it. I know that.
Yeah, well, it might be friendly. You never know.
It could be, but do you think that's friendly? It's not going to carry your shopping home for you,
wouldn't make a difference. I'd probably just run anyway. So,
as long as you don't faceplant anything, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true. Make sure there's nothing in the middle of, like, obviously me and whatever's behind me.
Yeah, but yeah, he said it could be friendly. Could become your best mate. We don't know, do we? We just don't know. Right. Well, we're at 1 hour 20 nearly. So should we call it a night?
Yeah, can do. That's all right with you, yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
Cool.
Right, massive thank you for coming on. Really
problem.
appreciate it. It's been a
Been
good
fun.
laugh. Really enjoyed it tonight,
Yeah.
as always. So, for those that listen on podcast, this will be uploaded in about 2 hours from now, so you can listen to it on any podcast player. Sorry, lost my voice then. So this will be uploaded on podcast, and that's it. I think I'm going to do the first proper eyes only tomorrow. Once I get the videos downloaded, that'll be about 4 hour 4 for about half an hour. There's 2 videos that I'm going to go through, see what people think. That's it. Other than we've got Chris Evers and Earl Grey on Friday at 8 o'clock. So anything you want to add before we go?
Not really. Just obviously, if I can plug my show.
Of course you can.
If anybody wants to come across to find we're on Parapost, Paralanx, Facebook, YouTube. We've got a Facebook page, Paranormal Versus. If you just want to come watch our podcast with Michael Kopf, you are quite welcome to come across. It's every other Thursday at 7 o'clock GMT, which is our time. I've got a clue what time it is anywhere else apart from CST, which is 1:30. I'm absolutely useless at converting. But well, like I say, we're on YouTube as well, so feel free to pop across. And you'll all be welcome.
Yeah, well, Michael always shares the link on my Facebook group anyway, so for those that are on Facebook, you can see it on there. Yeah. If not, go over to the YouTube channel now, Paranormal Versus, and subscribe.
Thank you very much.
So, excellent. Right, well, thank you. Hope you're feeling better soon and you get everything sorted. And
I shall
come back on in the near future.
I definitely will.
Perfect. Thank you. Right, so we're going to go. I will see you on Friday at 8 o'clock if I don't do tomorrow. So have a wonderful 2 days and speak to you all soon. And goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.